Well, everyone, it's Mother's Day, and I have been out here in my garden. Here's my pro tip. If you want your garden to look really spectacular, just take all the pots from all over, shove them all in one corner, and you will look like you're an amazing gardener. That's my trick. I've been having so much fun out here. We've got some things are coming up. The spinach is here. This is our lizard food that's going to be collard greens there coming up. We've got a lot more peas coming up. I still want to plant some more though. Those are old seeds. They're not germinating quite as well as I would like. I did do a couple things out here. So one is I started prepping some new pots. When I went to the greenhouse yesterday, they had all their tomatoes. My tomatoes are inside. They had all their tomatoes. I don't feel ready to plant tomatoes yet. I don't feel like the weather's quite right, and I don't feel like the temp is quite right, and the garden's not ready, So I started getting some pots ready. And I had to go buy a couple new pots. I'm a little uncomfortable planting a tomato in a fabric pot. I just feel like they need a little more stability that's going to come with, I keep pointing with my gardening gloves. They need a little more stability that's going to come with a big plastic pot. So I've tried to phase these out as much as I can in my garden because I don't like growing in plastic. I don't like the idea of using plastic. These don't last very long, although I do have a couple that have lasted a few seasons. But even the fabric pots have to be replaced. But the fabric pots are much cheaper than the plastic pots. I could not believe the price of the plastic pots, y'all. Like, it was terrible. Anyway, so I am getting this ready. This is going to be for tomatoes. I'm putting all fresh dirt in here. This soil here in these 3 pots, I brought over. So I had some of these guys that sat out all winter, and I've officially cleaned up all the garden detritus. So you see, no more weeds, and detritus is gone. So now what I've done, I'm going to do is I'll come back through this dirt and I will work in some fertilizer. I'll work in some lime. I might work in some diatomaceous earth. Food grade is perfect to kill any little nasty, those obnoxious pests that live in the soil. That will help with some of those soft-sided creatures. So I have to kind of treat up this soil before I reuse it. And I'm still thinking about if I'm going to. Look at this pot. I don't know if I'm going to reuse the soil in that pot. Tell me what you think. Leave me a comment. Would you reuse it or would you not? I think if I do maybe a vinegar wash and then treat my soil with some fertilizer, that'll probably be okay. But I just worry about moldy spores and stuff in my soil. So I'm going to treat up this soil. Maybe I'm paranoid. I don't know. I'm going to treat up that soil and then I'll start planting some new things in those, probably bush beans and maybe some peppers. But the new soil I'm going to reserve for tomatoes. They seem to be a little bit fussier about their soil. And over here, I've got these already. I added in some fertilizer. So we'll probably do some cucumbers and of course some more bush beans. We'll get that stuff started in the next couple weeks. I'm going to plant more peas. The spinach can be a little more crowded, so I may plant some extra stuff in there. I'm not sure what's going in this pot yet. What would you plant in there? Still waiting. Got to get some warmer nights before we plant those potatoes, but we'll get those planted up. I did do a little project. I collected up all the moss from around the deck and made this little mossy planter. So I'm going to put this inside by a window, but use everything you got in your yard, right? And yeah, so over here I've got some beautiful flowers that I'm probably going to put the geraniums in the front yard because the deer will leave them alone. The marigolds will be companion planted with my tomatoes. They have never failed me. I absolutely love these. Astilba, I think is how you say them. Is that what these ones are? I get these ones confused with this is the celosia. I get them confused with the Astilba. I don't know why. Celosia, absolutely love these. They sometimes come back, which is kind of fun, but they will fill in and add so much color and be fiery and beautiful. And look at how they're fuzzy, and they'll get really big and lots of blooms. So I'm excited to plant those. I like to add some color to the deck in between all the green growing plants. And then I have a variety of herbs. So I used to have the thyme in this pot here. And I did buy some more herbs that I may mix in with that thyme, or I may give them their own pot. But I decided the thyme needed some fresh soil. That soil was pretty compact. So I decided to give it some looser soil here. This has been all loosened up and amended a little bit. And I just took a huge a huge root ball of it and planted it here. So hoping it will be all right. I do have another experiment that I'm going to do here with this hanging fabric pocket. So this is 4 plants and I've attached it here with zip ties. Maybe you've seen these. You can even get them really big with like 5 or 10 pockets. My concern is that they're not very deep. So they may be good for lettuce or strawberries that have really shallow roots, but I'm concerned about keeping these watered in the heat of Michigan summer. So I'm gonna try 2 kinds of strawberries in here. We're gonna do Ozark strawberries, and one, they're ever bearing, so they will bear fruit all season. And then I'm gonna also try a different variety that's kind of more bushy. They're not going to send out runners, but they might do really well in that pot. So I've got the Ozark Beauty here, and that's actually what's in my strawberry patch right now is the Ozark Beauty. Okay, so that's these guys. These ones already have fruit on them. Like they are so ready to go. Hold on, strawberries. We still have some more cooler nights. Don't get so excited already. I've got some other, like some vining plants and some other little beautiful things here. Where are my other strawberries? Hold on. Got some more herbs. I love having herbs in the garden. Here we go. Alpine, everbearing, and they will not be quite as they'll be a little more bushy. So, you know, my basil needs to get planted. So I'm trying to rush through the rest of today's to-do list out here so I can get some of that basil planted. And I'm probably just they are gonna get really big and take over. So I'll probably just put them in these for now. And then I will companion plant some basil with some of these other things that are out here. But I'm not quite ready for that yet. Anyway, that's what's happening out here. I'm so excited. Things are coming together. Look, I look really fancy because I have a lot of pots, but there's not a lot growing yet. And I did find some watering cans. Oh my gosh, y'all, I went to Home Depot and there were no watering cans. And I definitely need a watering can because it's the easiest way to use the rain barrel is to fill the watering can. So I do have a hose, but in order to water using the hose, you have to go out back and turn the hose on, and then you can use the hose, and then you have to go back out there and turn it off. And of course, you know, like all hoses, it's not perfect. So you inevitably get soaked and your shoes get wet and stuff when you go down there. So usually I try to get a kid to go do that, but they're not always amenable to my request. Anyway, so that is what's happening here. I've got these to plant. I have more plants inside. Oh, and then I bought this plant. Y'all, I don't know what's going to happen with this thing, but I bought this Meyer lemon plant. It's a little baby. It is so fussy. I was just reading about how to take care of it. It is worse than a bearded dragon. It is worse than a kid. It is going to be the fussiest, most temperamental plant thing I have to take care of, but I'm going to try to keep it alive. We'll see what happens. That rosemary made it all season, sort of. So maybe we'll see. Hopefully it makes it. I don't know. We'll find out. It's all an experiment, right? I hope you are experimenting out in your garden today. Oh, notice I cleaned up the strawberry patch too. Yes. So this is going to look good. Oh, I have a plan for this. I don't know if I've told you all already. I'm going to let the middle plants bear fruit, and I'm going to let everybody around the edges be put out runners. So they will take care of making sure we have repeated plants and berries season after season. And I did notice that some of the leaves were getting red already, which can be a sign of fungus. It can also just be a sign of like there's no nutrients. And this patch has been here a year or two. So I did go to the store and I've worked in a little bit of fertilizer and kind of loosened up the soil around these plants so that hopefully they are happy. And then I did pull out the plant that was growing over there next to the brick and I planted it right here. So I'm going to water that and see if it survives. That was a little runner that made its way right. It was right there. It was hanging out right there in the corner. So hopefully we'll see. We'll see if it survives. You know, maybe strawberries will just grow anywhere. So that is what's happening out here. Leave me questions if you have them. Oh, my other gardening tip I'll just add here at the end is when you're planting and you're especially when you're reusing soil, because I know that I'm going to have weeds. I did not do a very good job keeping the weeds out of the garden last year. I know I'm going to have weeds. So one of the things I do is put a stake or a skewer or a toothpick right where I've planted. And so you can see, these ones are a little off. One of the kids helped plant here, but right where I plant the seeds. So I know that whatever's coming up right there, probably not a weed. And then it's easier for me to kind of keep the pots clear. You know, when you're planting in the ground, you know, the plants grow in the rows and the weeds don't. But out here, it's a little bit trickier in the pots. So I'm trying to be very vigilant this season right now. We've got some peas coming up, some more peas. They're really tiny though, look. They're just getting started. And as these get bigger, I might move them over towards the fence and put some netting there so that we can have those peas cascade up and kind of grow all over vertically. So okay, still more things to plant. I've got a couple pots here. We have to get ready for watermelon. We have to get ready for squash. This is the last year I'm trying squash. Then I'm just going to give up. Squash and I don't get along very well. So got to get the watermelon in soon. The next couple weeks we'll plant a lot more things like beans, corn, some different varieties of squash, some pumpkins, some that are good for containers, and also cucumber. And maybe some zucchini, we'll see. So get some stuff growing. Okay, I'm gonna get back to it because I gotta fill this pocket over here, see if it survives. See if it's a good thing. I'm gonna give you thumbs up, thumbs down on pockets for zone 5. So I'm gonna test that out for you so you don't have to. I did buy some other like pots that were supposed to fit over this railing and they were terrible. You couldn't even put any dirt in them. They were not big enough. So don't buy those, stick with the fabric pots. Okay, y'all, I got a little more to do. Have a great day. I hope you're having a great weekend. It's Mother's Day right now. Everyone's left me alone to garden or has helped me. That's happened too. So I hope you are doing something fun in your happy place. Here is a quick look. Today, Sunday, May, whatever the date is, but partway through May, this is what it's looking like. It's looking clean and tidy. I can't wait to sweep off the patio and add some little secret nooks and crannies where you can sit out here after everything starts to grow and kind of hide out in the plants. It's going to be a great place to read, to rest, and of course, to pick your favorite things to eat. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment. Let me know what should be growing in that pot right there in the middle. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day.